Hey guys, I'm gonna retell you something that I saw when I was 5 years old. I have another video where I told the story, but because I was having a hard time expressing myself, and like you'll notice, guys, in some of my videos, I take a long time to describe what I want to say, to get to the point, to be, like short and to the point. And not that I'm trying to make up any excuses. It's just being underweight, like being underweight by a lot. Like when you are very underweight, your concentration suffers. So that's what's going on with me. Yeah, so just bear with me, guys, okay? So you'll notice that in my videos I take a long time, not always, but I would have to say maybe a little bit more often than not, but I think I'm still doing a lot better than I did a few years ago. But so that's why I take a long, like sometimes I'll take like a million years to get to the point, because my concentration is fuzzy, and I struggle to find the words that I want to say, and like to put them together in a sentence that is short and to the point and clear and quick. So just bear with me, guys, okay? Bear with me. Okay, so in that one video, I took a long time, and I know that it frustrates people, but the Lord Jesus told me 3 years ago, around 3.5 years ago, to start making videos to give messages to people about what I experienced with him, and anything that anything that I have to say that could help people listening. Okay, so whatever I say in my videos is whatever I go through, or whatever I've witnessed or experienced, or something like that. Okay, all right. So when I was 5, okay, by the way, I'm from Ecuador, so that means soy hispana y hablo español, means I am Hispanic, and my first language is Spanish. And yes, so then I'm in Toronto in Canada, and yeah, so see, guys, how long I take to get to the point. So back in my country in Ecuador when I was 5, this was in the year that we came to Canada. So I was 5 when we came here, and this incident happened in just after I had turned 5 years old, because I do remember being 5, and we came to Canada in October of that year. Okay, so it was just after I had turned 5 years old. So one day, this was in my mother and my parents' house. We were there. I don't remember which town we were living in, because my parents, they moved us around a lot. So we went everywhere, like all over the place. But yeah, so we were living in this, I guess, like a small town, and my mother was at home, my father was at work, and my grandmother, where was my grandmother? I think she was in another town. I don't remember where she was. Maybe she was there. But anyway, I was playing in the front yard, in the front lawn, with another little girl who was 5 years old. And I remember her name. Her name was Sophia. And my grandmother told me that I used to call her Papilla. I couldn't pronounce her name, so I used to call her Papilla. I don't know where that girl is today. I don't know. But anyway, so myself and Sophia were playing on the front lawn, and we were just playing little girl games, playing out there on the lawn. And then I said to my friend, "Hey, let's go to your house and play." And my friend said, "Okay, let's go." So we started walking towards her house, and then all of a sudden we started hearing these loud screams of a girl, very loud screams, and the screams were blood curdling screams, like somebody was experiencing a horrible thing. And the closer we got to the house, the louder the screams got, right? They became. And my friend and I were like wondering, what is this noise? Like, who is that screaming like that? So we reached my friend's, the steps of the veranda. We walked up the steps, got onto the veranda, opened the door. I don't know who opened the door, my friend, or probably my friend, because it was her house. So we walked in. She opened the door, we walked in, and we stood at the bottom of the steps, and we heard the noises, the screams coming from the top, the second floor. So again, we were wondering, what is that? So I said, let's go and check it out. And the screams, guys, they were so loud. They were like, guys, if you have ever heard somebody, like a real person, screaming in absolute torture, and like they're about to lose their minds, that's the kind of screams. They were in desperation, somebody help me. But they weren't. This person that we heard screaming was not asking for help. Okay, they were not asking for help. They were just screaming at the top of their lungs in some kind of pain. So my friend and I started walking up the stairs, and we got up there. We reached the top of the stairs. We saw something horrible. This is what we saw. We saw two ladies and a girl. Okay, the two ladies were standing. Okay, the girl looked to be, from my 5-year-old eyes, she looked to be between 16 and 20. And the girl was standing in the center, and the two ladies were standing on either side. Now, one of the ladies was holding on to the girl's arm. She was holding on to the girl's body was facing, her back was facing us. Her back was facing us. And the two ladies were standing facing the girl, right? So you can picture that. Like the girl's back was facing us, and the two ladies were facing the girl. Like facing the girl, like side to side. You understand? Like the girl, everybody was within our view. One lady was on our, like, to the right. The girl was in the center, and the other lady was on the left. Okay, so that's how it was. And so the lady on the right side, she had the girl, was holding onto the girl's arm. She had her, like, the lady had her arm grabbed onto the girl's upper arm, like close to her shoulder, so she wouldn't, get away. And in her other arm, the lady who was holding onto this girl, in her other arm, in her hand, she was holding onto a very large torch. Okay, it was a torch, and it had fire. That's what a torch is. It's a fire. And she was holding the torch up to the girl's back, and she was burning the girl's back. And the girl, this is why she was screaming. She was jumping. She was jumping up and down, like violently, and jumping and screaming. And in my mind, I was wondering, okay, this is a really horrific scene, but why is she not trying to get away? She's not trying to lunge away. She's not trying to, like, get away. She's not trying to run. She's just standing there, jumping up and down violently as she's getting burned. Okay, this girl was getting burned alive. This is a torch. This is a torch, a device that you can light a fire, and the fire doesn't go out. So this lady was holding this torch up to this girl's back. And through my mind, I was just wondering, what on earth is going on? Why is this happening? What happened? What happened? In my mind, in my 5-year-old mind, I was saying, what did she do? I wasn't thinking, well, she must have deserved what she's getting right now because of something that she did. No, I was thinking, what did she do in order for this lady to do this to her unjustly? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no justification. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, guys, so all this is going on before my eyes and before my other friend's eyes, and then, you know what, guys? My friend, it was only about 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes, at least 2 minutes. I forgot to tell you, like, when we got to the top of the stairs, around 2 minutes after watching this horrific scene, my friend, she ran as fast as she could she ran down the hall past the ladies and that girl that was getting burned, and she went into a room that was on the other end of the house. It was all the way down on the other side of the house, long corridor, and she went in there, and she hid herself in there. And running through my mind was, I cannot believe that my friend left me here all by myself to witness this. I'm so afraid. Now what am I going to do? Because, guys, I felt secure and safe with my friend standing next to me. Although I was horrified at what I was seeing, I still felt safe because there was somebody there with me. And even though we were only 5 years old, I still felt safe and secure because there was another person standing there next to me witnessing this thing. So now I felt vulnerable. I was feeling alone and very scared. And I just stood there, guys. I stood and watched the whole thing. And do you know the expression of the other lady that was standing on the left side? Okay, her expression was, okay, I will tell you what she was doing. Her, her, okay, her arms, like when you place your arm, like when you see an angry mother place her arms on her hips, and she's telling a child, oh, you're going to get it now. Or where have you been? Where have you been? You're going to get it now. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so like that's how this other lady was standing. Her hands, like her fists or whatever, like her fists were on her hips. Her hands were on her hips. And she was looking at the girl, and the language that was coming out of her facial expression and her body expression, she was not saying any words, no verbal words. She was just communicating physically with her facial and body expression. Yes, you deserve this. You are deserving everything that's happening to you. Yeah, I love what's happening to you. You're getting what you deserve, and I love it. This is exactly what was coming out of that lady. She took pleasure in the torment that her friend was doing to this girl. And I couldn't believe it. She was just standing there watching this other lady burn a girl to death. I mean, not to death, but burn a girl alive. Okay? She was burning a girl alive. So then in my mind, I'm like, my friend was already gone. And I was thinking to myself, oh no, I am next. I'm going to get it next. So I made a plan in my head. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Now, guys, this is exactly what I said to myself in my 5-year-old mind. This is what I said. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. These two ladies are burning this girl. I'm next. My friend has left me. That means I'm next. So I am going to turn around as fast as I can, but very carefully so that I do not slip and fall down the steps. And after I turn around, I am going to grab the banister as tightly as I can, but not too tightly, just tight enough so that I can still move. And then I'm going to race down the stairs as fast as my little 5-year-old feet can take me. And when I get to the bottom of the steps, I have to make sure that I run out of the door as fast as I can. And guys, this is exactly the plan that I set in my head. And also, I forgot to mention, when I was thinking in my head how I'm going to get down the stairs, as like when at the point where I said to myself, I'm going to turn around, grab onto the banister, I also said to myself, when I grab onto the banister and I start running down the stairs, I'm going to run down as fast as I can and make sure that I don't trip over my feet and fall. So that's why I have to make sure that I grab onto the banister tight enough, but not too tight, that I will hold myself back and trip and fall. So that's what I said to myself, guys. That was my plan. And that's exactly what I did. That is exactly what I did. Okay? In the midst of everything that I was seeing, it's like I made a countdown. I'm like, I didn't actually count it down. I just prepared myself mentally. And then when I was ready, I turned around really fast, grabbed onto the banister, not too tight, and I started running down the stairs, holding onto the banister just tight enough, to secure that I would not fall. And then when I got to the ground floor, I just raced it out of there, and I ran all the way home. And I just ran home, and I never said a word to anybody. I didn't say anything to anybody. Not even to my mother or anything. I was so scared because I said, if I tell my mother, if I tell anybody, I'm going to get in trouble. Now, I wasn't going to get in trouble. That's just sometimes how little children think. When you see something, you think you're going to get in trouble, but you're not going to get in trouble. And I don't remember when I said something about it, but I was already grown. I was probably around 16 or 17, I think like 16 by the time I said something. And when I told my parents, they were really upset because they're like, Nancy, you mean to tell us that you saw this crime happen in front of your eyes and you went home and you said nothing? that poor girl, I wonder who she was. And the guys, the shocking thing is that my mother told me that Sophia's house was only 2 houses apart from us. She was 2 houses next to us. So my mother said, like, Nancy, are you sure you went through this? Because Sophia's house, she only lived 2 houses next to us, and I didn't hear a thing. I didn't hear any screams. And I told my mother, I said, look, I know what I saw. I am not going to make up this thing. I know what I saw. Me and Sophia saw it. We witnessed it. We saw what we saw. We're not going to make up such a horrific, this is not something, you don't make up these kinds of things. Right? Even today, guys, I still remember every detail from what I was seeing. Everything that I described to you, I saw it. Okay? And so my mother's like, oh, well, okay, I believe you, but it doesn't make any sense this girl would be screaming like this and we didn't hear anything. Because you would think that my mother said, like, if you think that if a person is screaming in that kind of pain that loud, you're going to hear it because it's only 2 doors down. And I said, I know this, but I don't understand why nobody else heard it. So my mother's like, Nancy, who was this girl and who were those 2 ladies? And I'm telling my mother, I said, I don't know who they were. All I know is that there were these 2 ladies inside Sophia's house. And I don't know how old they were. I can't tell you how old they were. They could have been in their 40s. They could have been in their 50s. I have no idea how old they were. They could have been in their 30s. You see, I don't understand. I could not understand how, in my 5-year-old mind, how old they were. I can still remember seeing them. In my mind right now, I can still remember seeing them. But to identify their age, I cannot tell you. I don't know. Right? So I asked my mother the first time when I told her that story, I said, okay, try and remember in that year, in that month, shortly after, like I said, remember try to remember go back in your memory banks and remember, do you remember hearing about any kind of a traumatic accident or a traumatic crime where somebody was burned or possibly died, or they had to be rushed to the hospital because of a severe burn? And so my mother just, she sat there and started thinking and thinking, and after a few minutes she said, Nancy, no, there were no reports of anybody who with a severe burn going to the hospital or dying of a burn. There wasn't even any gossip about anybody getting burned, because you guys, in small towns, gossip runs like water, right? Everybody knows your business. So I said to my mother, it's very strange that with what with Sophia and I witnessed, that none of this spread anywhere. So I said to my mother, I think it's possibly good news that there were no reports of anybody dying of a severe burn, because this means that the girl must have survived. Because my mother says that she doesn't remember any girl with the description that I gave her, that she looks between 16 and 20. She says, I do not remember anyone in that description living in that neighborhood or in that house. So I don't know. My mother said, I don't know who that could have been. So to me, I'm thinking maybe she was a visitor. So it's just very strange and odd that nobody heard the screams. It was a small town. There were houses. Everybody was living in like row houses. So how could nobody hear? Me and Sophia heard this. We saw it. To me, that's an attempted murder. That is not an assault. That is an attempted murder, because when you burn, if you have a torch or whatever device you have in your hand, whatever device you have in your hand with the intentions of burning a body, that's attempted murder. Okay? And this lady was burning this girl's back. Whether she was burning the girl's back or the chest, okay, our lungs are there. Our lungs are in our chest, as we all know. Right? So this was, I have no idea some people have raging tempers Okay, they have raging tempers, and I'm not making any excuses for them. But I don't know that some people who have a raging temper, if they're going to have the idea to go and burn somebody to death, if that's their intention. You know what I'm saying? Some people with a raging temper, they throw things and they're violent and all that, right? They might be violent with a person even. And again, I'm not making excuses for them. But I don't think that in some cases that a person with a raging anger is going to go to the kitchen and grab something like a knife or to kill somebody or to stab somebody or to burn somebody. I don't think that there are those cases. Now, there are raging people who absolutely lose their senses. Not that it's an excuse, but they lose their senses and they do commit crimes where they do those kinds of things. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know, guys. I have no idea what happened to that girl. I just hope that she's alive today. I hope everything's well. I just don't know what happened to her. I felt bad, guys. I mean, when I grew up, I felt really bad because I didn't say anything to my parents. I felt really bad. I have no idea who she is. I can only imagine the kind of scars that she has on her back. You know, I don't know, because I don't know much about burns, but I do know that severe burns they're atrociously painful, and there are skin grafts involved and things like that. Oh, that's horrible. It doesn't matter what kind of how advanced medicine and technology and all that. You know, when you're dealing with certain things like severe burns, oh, there is a lot of pain involved in that. God bless those people who are going through that, and animals too. God bless them all. Okay, guys, so that's the story that I retold again, and I'm hoping that it was a better version. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I don't know what else to say about it, but if you have any questions about what I saw, then let me know. Yeah, so guys, if you guys witness anything, talk. Say something. Even if it's anonymously, report it. Say something, because you could save somebody's life. You could even potentially stop a crime that would happen to them at some point after you see something that is wrong. So report it. All right, guys, so I'm finished. Don't forget to subscribe. You guys see my little picture there? Okay, you're going to see my little picture there. Make sure you subscribe. You're going to see my picture there at the bottom of the screen, and you put your cursor on it, and then you'll see subscribe. And so you click on that. Click on it. And then you will be notified every time I put up a new video. Okay, guys. Dios los bendiga a todos. Los quiero a todo mundo. I just said, God bless you all. I love everybody. And I'll see you next time. Bye.